2009. Everyone was fighting to recover from one of the worst economic crises in world history. A second recession seemed unavoidable. The world economy shrank 0.6%, and millions were left jobless around the globe. The extreme fiscal imbalances on a worldwide scale and the weak bank balances caused a dip of 10.7% in the global trade of goods and services, and with it, the loss of millions of jobs, all very damaging to young people's opportunities. On July 3, 2009, young entrepreneurs from the G8 countries gathered in Stresa, Italy. At no other time in history had it been more important to recognize young entrepreneurs as one of the most important drivers of the economy, a force that could lead the way to economic recovery through job creation and innovation. The need was clear, the path difficult, and the answer right in front of us. September 2009. The G20 Summit took place in Pittsburgh, USA. World leaders officially decided that the G20 would replace the G8 in terms of planning global development. By September 25th, 2009, the G20 had become the most important political and economic body in the world. The globe's young entrepreneurs had the opportunity to highlight the undeniable need to strongly promote young entrepreneurship in the world's most important political forum. This was how, in June 2010, at the initiative of the Canadian Youth Business Foundation, and for the first time ever, the world's most important business organizations gathered at the Young Entrepreneur G20 Summit in Toronto, Canada, with a single objective: to make history. We, the leaders of the organizations that support young entrepreneurs around the world, know that these young entrepreneurs have the power to change their lives, their communities, their cultures, and their countries. Through the businesses they found, the wealth they generate, the jobs they create, and the power of their own personal examples, young entrepreneurs are potent drivers of economic growth, social change, and innovation. Immediately afterwards, in November 2010, YES Korea hosted a meeting at which a charter was signed, making official the creation of the G20 Youth Entrepreneurship Alliance. Building on our engagement at the June 2010 Toronto G20 Summit, we, the members of the Alliance, commit to a long-term engagement of the G20 as an extension of our missions to champion the cause of young entrepreneurs in our respective countries and across the globe. Through our global movement, we believe we can make the 21st century the century of the entrepreneur. The G20 Young Entrepreneur Alliance had been born, and the world was about to change. A mere 6 months later, in May 2011, the youth leaders' commitment led them to immediately organize a midterm meeting in Istanbul, Turkey, where TÜGİAD was the host. The alliance was forged and ready. In fact, it was working towards its next summit in France, but it still needed the support of major international organizations to give credibility to the alliance's proposals and bring about the public policy changes essential to advancing youth entrepreneurship. This credibility came about when, during the meeting in Turkey, through the initiative of Les Journées de l'Entrepreneur, two of the world's most important international consulting firms partnered with the G20 YEA, Ernst & Young and McKinsey. With their help, the Alliance developed important research tools that produced reliable information regarding global unemployment for the youth and the lack of opportunities for young business people. In November 2011, the second Young Entrepreneurs Summit in Nice, France, saw more than 400 world young business people contribute their ideas for public policies that would help world leaders and their governments develop a better ecosystem for entrepreneurs. This summit also saw the launch of Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur Barometer and McKinsey's The Power of Many. Only 3 months later, in January of 2012, Young Indians hosted the Alliance's third midterm meeting in India. The key accomplishments of this meeting was strengthening the Alliance's structure through the signing of the Manual of Understanding, which governs the Alliance's various committees and the relationship between the organizations that are a part of it. June 2012, the world's young entrepreneurs gathered again, this time in Mexico City, for the third annual Alliance Summit, hosted by Mexico's most important business organization, Coparmex. For the first time, the Alliance achieved its goal of presenting its official communiqué to the then G20 world leader, former Mexican President Felipe Calderón, who welcomed more than 400 young summit participants at his home and vowed to take the communiqué to the G20 Summit.
O entre las cosas más importantes que ustedes pueden hacer, ya las hicieron, que es reunirse, discutir, analizar alternativas, llegar a conclusiones, venir aquí a Los Pinos, entregarme las conclusiones y yo voy a hacerlas llegar a la mesa del G20, esperando que se incluyan ahí.
It was also in Mexico that the G20 Research Group officially joined the Alliance as a strategic partner. The G20 YEA had become the most important youth organization on the planet. October 2012, the Alliance's fourth midterm meeting took place on the island of Capri in Italy, the country where the dream of a G20 Youth Entrepreneurship Alliance had been born. During the meeting, work was done on the committees and on planning the upcoming summit in Russia. Since Russia became the host of the G20 YEA has achieved several new milestones and accomplishments. First, it has brought on Accenture as a new global knowledge partner. Second, through its Russian member, the Center for Entrepreneurship has engaged in the B20 process and participated on task forces to ensure that the voice of young entrepreneurs is being heard and included in the B20 recommendations to the G20. As the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance Summit convened in Moscow, Russia, from June 15th to 17th, 400 young entrepreneurs from G20 countries and the organizations that represent them could rightly declare, "Crisis delenda est, entrepreneurship est memorandum." The crisis must be overcome. The role of entrepreneurship must be emphasized.